Ode on Melancholy was written by the British poet John Keats. So it is one of the 5 odes Keats composed in 1819, which are considered to be among his best work. Essentially, this poem is about how to deal and how not to deal with deep sadness. The speaker comes across as a kind of advisor who warns against turning to intoxication or death for relief from melancholy. So melancholy means sadness. It is a situation of a deep sadness which exists for a long time.
Ode on Melancholy. No, no, go not to Lethe, neither twist walls bane, tight-rooted for its poisonous wine, nor suffer thy pale forehead to be kissed by nightshade, ruby grape of Proserpine. Make not your rosary of yew berries, nor let the beetle nor the death moth be your mournful Psyche, nor the downy owl a partner in your sorrow's mysteries. For shade to shade will come too drowsily and drown the wakeful anguish of the soul.
So the poem opens by giving instruction about things not to do. The poet is emphatic, repeating no twice, followed by go not to live, just in case the listener or the reader is unsure about how serious the poet takes this. Go not to Lethe. Lethe is an allusion to a river in the mythological Greek underworld. According to this myth, um, drinking from this river will cause you to forget everything and enter a kind of state of oblivion. And then go to the next line. Neither twist wolf's bane tight rooted for its poisonous wine. That means that don't pull wolf's bane plants from the ground in order to poison yourself or dull your pain. Wolfsbane is a plant that was once used to poison wolf. Here, tight-rooted conveys the way the plant is tightly embedded in the ground. So, meaning anyone who wants to take it out needs to be pretty desperate and determined. Then, nor suffer thy pale forehead to be kissed by nightshade. Means don't let your weak self come into contact with a deadly nightshade plant. Nightshade is another deadly plant. Do not drink wine from the mythical queen of the underworld. And then let's moving on at the next line. Make not your rosary of yew berries. Means don't make a rosary bed necklace from poisonous yew berries, and don't become obsessed with symbol of death and decay like beetles or death moth. And then next line is nor the downy owl. Nor the downy owl a partner in your sorrow's mysteries. Means don't join forces the owl in the order to intensify your mysterious sadness. And then the next line, last line, for shade to shade will come too drowsy and drown the wakeful anguish of the soul. Means doing any of above will bring too much darkness and just numb you to your pain.
But when the melancholy fits shall fall, sudden from heaven like a weeping cloud, that fosters the droop-headed flowers all, and hides the green hill in an April shroud, then glad thy sorrow on a morning rose, or on the rainbow of the salt Seine wave, or on the wealth of low peonies, or if thy mistress some rich anger shows, and prison her soft hand, and let her rave, and feed deep, deep upon her tearless eyes. Stanza 2 gives us practical advice now what we should do when the sadness hits, or when the melancholy fits or fall, even with a sensory explosion of literary devices that in particular force us to see, taste, and the devouring of experience seems to be the dominant imagery across this stanza. I want to draw your attention to the second line of this stanza, to the weeping cloud, to the weeping cloud, to the simile of heaven like a weeping cloud. The idea that melancholy can mask the true beauty of what could be heaven like, because we only see the weeping cloud in front of it, and then this idea that fostered the group headed flowers. Nature is dying quickly because it doesn't get the nourishment. It hides the green hill in an April shroud. So that got several different interpretation. You can't see what glorious because it's hidden. But the shroud of April, while April sure is that some sort of weird, pathetic fallacy reference to rain that just never stop or never relents, or is the word in shroud more significant because of its ambiguous meanings on the one hand. It describes the fog that link to April, or is it rather linked to funeral with the clothes that used over a dead body? Both definitely signal those depressing undertones that Keats is very pertinently weaving together. In some respects, this stanza is all about how our need in that moment when sadness hits is to fit our sorrow and beauty. But the question remains, why? Why should we do this? Why? We are told to cling closer to images of, the rainbow, of the salt sand wave, of the morning rose, of the world of glowed peonies. All of these nature reference on some level are fleeting. The flowers will soon wilt the rainbow, while the rainbow only lasts a few seconds. So should we then be recognized that beauty and sadness bound? I just want to throw you back to the first stanza, or the stanza one, the reference to the beetle, the reference to the dead moth. In some respects, that they represent uh, the transformation and new hope, but that may give it another subset of ways to particularly manage sadness when it hits when it hits in the final lines that stands up to, or if I mistress some rich angel souls. So if your partner or your lover is mad with you, just hold her hand Just let your lover or your partner shout at you and now what? And let her rave. So now what was glowed by sorrow, which seems quite indulgent. Now in that final line, and feet deep upon her peerless eyes, there's something about the flowering and tasting across these sounds a bit, in particular the assonance of that final lines and feet deep upon her peerless eye. It's heavy. This is not about nourishment. This is about some sort of strange indulgence, and there's an awareness here that somehow beauty and sadness, they need each other. But this stanza offers the antithesis to value life and experience, but we are left thinking.
She dwells with beauty, beauty that must be enjoy, whose hand is ever at his lips, bidding adieu and chilling pleasure night, turning to poison while the bee moth sips. I, in the very temple of the like fealty, melancholy has her sovereign shrine, though sin of none save him whose strenuous tongue can burst joy's grave against his palate find. His soul shall taste the sadness of her might, and be among her cloudy trophies hung. Okay, the interpret of this stanza is the speaker offer his most convincing synthesis of melancholy and joy in a way that takes in the tragic mortality of life but lets him remain connected to his own experience. It is precisely the fact that joy will come to an end that makes the experience of joy such a ravishing one. The fact that beauty dies makes the experience of beauty sharper and more thrilling. The key he writes is to see the kernel of sadness that lies at the heart of all pleasure, to burst joy's grave and gain admission to the inner temple of melancholy. Though the Ode on Melancholy is not explicitly about art, it is clear that this synthetic understanding of joy and suffering is what has been missing from speakers' earlier attempts to experience art.